And, I want to say something specifically to moms. When you completely deplete yourself and you focus on other people and you try to pour from an empty cup, you are teaching people how to treat you.
Yes.
And if you have daughters, you are teaching them, I'm expendable. And when you grow up, you're going to be expendable too. So stop giving that message to your children, your boys and your girls. But I think it's especially internalized by girls. And then the boys will grow up, if they're heterosexual anyway, to expect their wives to be expendable.
Yes, exactly. Fucking preach. Yes. Yes. And that's something that I saw very quickly, as like one of my main callings, because I have 4 girls, and I was terrified a little bit. I was like, oh wow, I really need to take inventory of the messages that I've been holding on to my whole life that I don't want to pass on to them.
Yeah. Yeah.
Because I have 4 girls.
Yeah, absolutely. Absolutely. How old are they?
They are 13, 11, 9, and 7.
Okay. So still very, very, very malleable.
Yes.
Yeah.
Yes, exactly.
Wonderful.
And that was one of the main things I was thinking about when I was making the choice to complete my marriage, because it wasn't a healthy marriage. I was a single mom before I was a single mom. And I didn't want my girls growing up watching that dynamic and thinking that that's what a marriage should look like. That's what the wife's and mother's role is.
Mm-hmm.
No, absolutely
Good for
not.
you. Yeah.
And I didn't want that for myself.
Yeah.
Like, to be clear, I didn't just, it was very much like, it was the biggest act of self-love that I had
absolutely
performed at that point in my life.
Yeah.
Was completing my marriage.
I have to say, I have never heard anybody use the term completing my marriage, and I fucking love that. It was an act of completion. Yes. Because what people often say was my marriage failed. No.
Exactly. And my marriage wasn't a failure. It was just a season of my life. And when I began that season, I just overestimated how long that season was going to last. That's all it was.
Right. Yeah. And I think, we are still, even though the divorce rate of first marriage is something in the neighborhood of 50%, people still go into marriage with the idea that I should be able to make this work for the rest of my life. That is a centuries old notion.
Yes.
When patriarchy was way worse than it is now. And also when lifespans were way fucking shorter than they are now.
Well, yes. And also people just don't understand what marriage was actually for. Marriage, historically speaking, and it's still kind of, it still is, because we're not evolved enough, and we're not like awake and aware enough of what marriage was for in order to properly change it. So it really still is a business transaction.
Yes.
That is what it was. It was securing, a financial future for yourself through a person, the wife, a woman. That's the biggest thing you could ever aspire to be, was some asshole's wife. And it was, what your father could supply as a dowry, what the two families stood to gain by marrying each other.
Yes.
That is what marriage was for. That's why it was a lifelong bind.
Yeah.
Because it was the most powerful business transaction.
Yes.
Then we like romanticized it. And so now it's all this like muddied mess. But, we look at the divorce rate of, like you said, somewhere in the neighborhood of 50%, and people see that as a problem. It's not a problem. It's just a neutral circumstance. It means that for half of the human population, a lifelong partnership is not, it doesn't work for us.
Right. At least the first go around. Yeah.
Well, so yes, exactly. It's just, it doesn't work for us. We're here for like multiple partnerships.
Yeah.
And that's okay.